The various parts and pieces required to attach the blade to the tractor were confusing to me when I was looking at buying a blade. So I thought it would be best if I just laid these parts out on the floor here and we talked through each one of them and how they're purchased and how they work together. On the front is obviously the blade itself. This is the 54 quick hitch blade. I believe this black piece here comes with the blade. It's removable. It would not be hard to remove at all, but it does come with the blade. Next up we have the quick hitch itself. The quick hitch consists of two pieces. Okay, this is why the quick hitch has a different part number for a lot of different tractors, because of this back piece here. I think this part up here is the same, but this back piece is different for each tractor. These pieces come together as one unit, including this up and down cylinder. Another, I guess you could say optional piece, but really very important piece for the quick hitch blade is the angle cylinder, the angle kit they call it, which consists of the angle cylinder and the hoses and connectors to do the angling of the quick hitch. Now we're looking right at the front of the tractor, and we see this piece here which is attached right to the front bumper. This piece, along with two other pieces, become the attached support bracket kit. Okay, let me bring the camera down just a little bit, shine up in there. This right here is one of the pieces of the attached support bracket. Notice the hole and the slot back here, and it bolts right here onto the bumper. But you can see this bracket right here is what comes with it. It also comes with some longer bolts. There's four items held by this bolt. There's the bumper guard on the outside. There's the mower bracket, which goes all the way down here to hold the auto connect mower. There's the frame itself, and then this is the quick hitch support attached bracket, or attached support bracket, or whatever. So in order to mount this, you do have to take this off, and then you want to use the little bit longer bolts that are provided to you with this kit. So at this stage, I would be remiss if I didn't show you another cool attachment that you can have, which requires only these quick support attach brackets that we just discussed. Now you'll need to have this pin, which comes from the quick hitch. This is the heavy hitch quick attach front weight bracket. So I showed you those slots up in there. You just slide this up in the slots, you lift it up, and you slide that pin through, just like that. And there's a spring key for the other side. And now you have the quick hitch front weight bracket on. To my knowledge, this is the only way that you can attach front weights to the 1025R or the 1 Series tractor unless you take off this bracket right here. So if you have a quick hitch, you would have to remove this bracket to put weights on there, or to attach the other weight bracket, which would seem quite a lot of pain. Along with every heavy hitch attachment, if you use the coupon code TTWT at heavyhitch.com, you'll get a 5% discount. I love their products. Astute viewers will notice that I removed the mower deck in between the last shot and this shot. You can't attach the quick attach hitch with the mower on. Now, as you saw, I demonstrated you can attach this weight bracket with the mower on. Okay, so let's attach this quick hitch piece to the attached support brackets. So there we go, we just slide it up in there and insert the pin. So given that I leave the blade attached to the quick hitch, the question now is, what is the easiest way to get this attached onto this? Now, they call it a quick hitch. I understand it's a quick hitch, and it's certainly better than attaching and bolting and anything else. But I would say that this is one of the most manual attachment processes that I have to go through on the tractor. It's not nearly as easy as, say, attaching the front end loader or attaching the backhoe. When I say it's not as easy, it's just that you have to lift more. The hydraulic connections are just like the front end loader. There's 4 hoses, 2 for each cylinder up there, and they are color coded just like for the front end loader. One thing I want to make note though is, at least in my case and several others with 1025Rs, the black and yellow have come reversed. When they come from the factory, that's the angle, it comes reversed. They have the yellow on the wrong one. Because it seems logical to me that when you push the joystick to the right, you'd want it to angle to the right. Push the joystick to the left, you'd want it to angle to the left. Perhaps that's illogical, I don't know, but a lot of other people have the same issue with me. So notice I'm connecting the hydraulic hoses before I actually connect the blade up front. This will give me a little opportunity to flex the vertical part of the blade, the raise and lower of the blade, such that I can get that to slide over the front. Now, your blade should come with 2 of these hydraulic hose holders. Okay? One of them stays mounted on the tractor, and one of them stays mounted on the blade. At least that's how I did it. So to get these to go in here, I usually do them one hose at a time. And I also tied with a zip tie about halfway here because I was having some difficulty with the hoses getting into the front wheel, and I didn't want to wear them out. Okay, now that I've got the hoses attached, I'm going to lower the blade. That should effectively tilt the quick hitch downward. Now that I have that quick hitch tilted, I should be able to pick it up by that bar and set the steel rod, right into this slot. Okay, so now I will raise the blade to allow these pins to begin to work their way backwards. Now that the pins are close to the holes, I'll unlock them. Notice it still didn't go into the hole, but it's very close. Now I've got 2 ways I can handle it. I can lift here, or I can kind of take a peek and it looks like it needs to be raised a little bit more. What I'm trying to show you is how to attach this with the least amount of lifting. I do find this blade to be heavy. I find it to be awkward to attach unless you think this through and use the approach I'm showing you here with letting the hydraulics do the work. Now I love this blade. I especially like the Artilian wings and the Artilian rubber cutting edge. Both inexpensive and very nice additions to the blade. From my standpoint, I can't imagine a better snow plowing rig, at least for the 1025R. Having said that, I do see some negatives with this situation. First, if you remember back in the early part of the video, you have all these different pieces that have to be bolted on, put together, attached. You can tell that this hitch attachment mechanism has been around for years and years and has been modified to suit many different tractors over the years. The second thing is that it's really not quite strong enough, probably, for the larger tractors like the 1 Series and definitely the 2 Series. You get to the outside of these blades and you can push a lot more with the tractor than what this hitch can probably stand. So you have to be a little bit gentle with it. I've not had any trouble myself. I know some other folks have had trouble. Now the third item that I don't care for on this blade is how this cylinder and its hoses here are exposed to the elements. If you do any back dragging, which if you want to like drive up to a garage door, set your blade down and pull backwards, this quickly gets all packed up full of ice and snow. I find back dragging to be a very effective technique, and unfortunately you just can't do it very well with this blade. You have to find another way. That's usually not too much of a problem because the tractor is so nimble and can get around so nicely that you can find another way to kind of push it sideways without doing any back dragging, or without doing much back dragging. But it is kind of an issue for me. I wish somehow, some way, these hydraulic connections at least were on the inside and that there was more covering over all of this hydraulic assembly here for the angle kit. Now there are several OEMs that make custom blades that fit this entire mechanism. So they're quick hitch compatible blades, but oftentimes they're heavier than this blade, and they're taller than this blade, and oftentimes they're wider. For instance, I know of one manufacturer who makes one that's 60 inches wide and 66 inches wide. They've got 2 different options. This actual blade is about 18 inches tall. The competitors that are making OEM blades are making 24-inch blades for taller snows. I haven't had enough snow for the height to be an issue yet. I'm not really sure whether how it'll handle. I have had about 10 inches of snow. It was a fairly light snow, fairly easy to deal with. I didn't have any issues with it at all coming off the blade. Now the fourth issue that I have with the blade is how high it lifts, or how high it doesn't lift. Especially when you have the blade fully angled, the end with the wing here comes pretty close to hitting the ground. Most of the time this is not a problem, but occasionally you just feel like you would like it to lift higher. And along with the lift is back there, that's as high as that ever gets. So you only have about 4 inches of ground clearance even when everything is lifted to the height. Even though the blade's higher than that, the quick hitch itself only has about that much clearance. Again, I don't typically find that to be a problem, but once in a while it is a problem. Some of these issues that I've brought up with the blade are why that Deere is going with the front 3-point hitch attached blade for the new 2 Series, the 2032R, 2038R. That attachment kit is more expensive than this, but it's also much more heavy duty and can handle the increased horsepower and the increased traction, increased weight of the bigger tractor. Overall, I think you'll be thrilled with this blade. It does everything I need to do. I don't have traction issues without chains. I don't need chains on this tractor. Of course, I'm a flatlander. Don't have many hills right here, but I just have not had any issue. Some folks might wonder what this right here is. This allows you to lock your blade for pushing, say, dirt or something that you need to actually allow it to dig in and put a lot of pressure on it, or to unlock it, and that allows it to be spring loaded, and then when you hit something hard with the cutting edge, it will flip itself forward so that it doesn't damage the blade. Given what I've said earlier about all the attaching components and the blade itself maybe not being quite strong enough for the 1 Series or the 2 Series, I would recommend always leaving this in the unlocked or spring loaded position. Certainly, anytime you were plowing snow, you need to have it unlocked like that. And quite frankly, I wouldn't recommend plowing any rock or dirt or anything like that with this blade. You've got your loader, just use that. If you have a smaller tractor than the 1 Series, perhaps you can try to push dirt with it. And the reason is you're not going to have as much weight, you're not going to get as much traction, you're not going to be able to put as much force on that blade anyway. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you've learned something about the 54 quick attach blade. If you've liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, please don't hit the thumbs down button. Share it with your friends, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Do you have the 54 quick hitch blade? Do you have another one of the OEM blades? Have you had issues with any of these blades? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
Remember to like this video and subscribe to Tractor Time with Tim for all the crazy stuff that we'll do next year.
Oh my goodness, you match.
Subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks, we'll get right on it. Come back.
Back and watch another day. Hooray!
That's all, folks.